Today, I passed by your cafeteria, your restaurant, and got a good look at it. That place is way more run down than I was expecting. Are you going to be able to get any customers there?
Good evening, Laurel. As of right now, I wouldn't exactly say that we're breaking even just yet. It's pretty hard working in the culinary industry, but from here on out, my husband and I are going to do our very best to make sure this restaurant succeeds. Unfortunately, right now costs are pretty rough, but over time I'm sure they'll become more manageable. We just have to get over this first hump and everything will be just fine.
The culinary industry, huh? I'm not sure I'd be including a place like that in the culinary industry. That kind of a rundown shack is more like a dive bar or something. And even that would be generous of me to say about it.
I'm not sure you need to be saying that about our restaurant right now. Things haven't gotten any easier for us here ever since we had to loan you some of our money before.
Huh? So you're trying to say that it's my fault now that your restaurant isn't doing well? You really love to pass off responsibility to others, don't you?
Well, if you're not wanting to be responsible as one of the reasons why we don't have much money at the moment, would you be able to pay us that money back soon? It's been over a year now since we loaned it to you. I've tried asking my brother about it already, but he keeps ignoring me.
Ugh. There's no point in trying to get anything out of Louis, so leave him alone and only talk to me. I've already told him that any words that come out of your mouth are lies, and it's best just not to talk to you.
What? Why would you say something like that about me?
What does it matter to you? Our marriage and how we communicate has nothing to do with you.
Understood. Well, it's been a year now, so would you please start paying some of that money back to us? You asked for that money from us in order to do something with it, but that all happened a while ago. And so far, my husband and I haven't seen a penny in returns from then.
Well, as family things like this are pretty common, aren't they?
Excuse me? I think you're mistaken.
Well, as family, we have to be there for one another to help out, right? Now, good luck to your husband and you with that rundown food shack you're trying to run. Try your best not to let it go out of business within a month.
As for that money we lent you, I'm going to talk with you again about it really soon.
Has Laurel gone and given you guys your money you lent her back?
Not yet, and it doesn't sound like she ever will. I'm in a bit of a pickle. Not even Louis is talking to me about it anymore.
As your mom, I am really worried about the both of you and about what's been going on lately. I am getting pretty high up there in age now, and one day I won't be around to help out anymore. I'd love to see you both working together as brother and sister, instead of always having something against one another.
I have nothing against Louis, but as long as he has a wife like that, I don't think things between him and I will ever be okay. But I'm going to try my very best, okay? I don't want to make you worry about us anymore.
I've always been worried about the both of you, since you guys have never really been that close to one another. And ever since Louis became an adult, he has been ignoring you the most out of anyone in the family. Once he ended up marrying Laurel, things only became worse, and he completely stopped talking to you, right?
That's very true. Things have gotten so bad now that I don't know what to do.
And ever since they both started living with me, I've felt like I've had my hands bound. I was happy to hear from him at first about living together, but now I'm not so sure that was the right thing to do. I know they only wanted to live with me now because Laurel wanted me to pay for the housing and all of that.
I see. But isn't Louis working right now? Was he not able to pay for the place they both had before? Well, if things aren't going so well for you, you can always come out and move in with us. I'd feel bad taking you away from them, though, because I'm sure Laurel would only start to behave worse.
I will have to talk with those two about how things have been going recently, okay? I would like to open the both of their eyes so that they can see what they've been doing. I know that if things keep going the way they are now, things won't end well.
What? Did something happen already? Did something happen to you?
Kendra, has your mom told you yet that she was told she only has a half year to live? I cannot believe this is already happening. Her needing someone to take care of her at home. Well, I'm not caring for some old hag like her, so I've gone and kicked her out of this house.
Are you kidding me? That house is my mom's house, though. You've kicked my mom out of her own house?
Your brother and I are living here still, so it's our house now, right? And we don't want to let someone who only has 6 months to go stay in our house, especially when she could die at any minute. Then the place would smell like old person, and we'd have to burn the place down.
Laurel, you are a lot worse than I first thought. Did my brother say you doing something like that was okay?
Louis doesn't have a say in any of this. All he's allowed to do is what I tell him he can do. So there you go. And he was looking forward to seeing the old hag go, so this was the perfect thing for both of us.
He wanted that? There's no way he would want his own mom kicked out of her house. To him, she's his mom, and she did so much for him. Why would he want her out of the house as much as you wanted her out?
Because to him, he is much more close to me than he is to her. So he will do anything to keep me happy. And that's why the old hag is on the streets now. Take her into your raggedy restaurant and keep her there.
Then this means you really have kicked my own mother out of her own house, right? Do you really think you can get away with doing something as idiotic as that?
She might be Louis's mom and all, but to me she is nothing more than a stranger. And she was the one who told us she doesn't have long to live. So I thought we could do whatever we wanted with her. I'm honestly not that kind of a person, and will not be letting a dying old person stay in my house. That old pain-in-the-butt hag is all yours now, so you and your low-life husband figure out what to do with her.
You are the worst.
Shut up, and listen to what your sister-in-law says. That old hag cannot live in our house anymore, so the only person left that can take care of her is you, right? Although, I'm not sure what two lowlifes who are running a crap shack will be able to do for her.
Laurel, are you sure you want to be doing this? Doing something like that to my mom, like kicking her out of her own house? You're going to regret going through with something as heartless and thoughtless as that.
Why would I ever regret making the best choice of Louis in my life? We are finally able to call this house our own. And getting our hands on this house happened a lot faster than I was expecting.
Was that your plan from the very start then? You had your eyes on my mom's house?
If that wasn't our goal, then why would we ever choose to move in with that old hag? We always planned to have her kicked out of here the moment she started needing someone to look after her in her old age.
I won't forgive you for that. Laurel, I'm going to make sure you regret everything you've done here.
Sorry that I have to come over right now. Is Ian going to be okay with this?
Oh, you really don't have to be worried about what my husband thinks. To him, he thinks of you like his own mother. He said that if things were as bad as you said they were over there, you should have come to our house sooner. Louis's wife, that frickin' bitch. No, she's just straight up a devil.
Kendra, I'm doing just fine right now, so you can calm down, please.
I have no reason to be calm after what's happened to you. I never thought that anyone in our family would be okay with putting you through that, especially after being told you only have 6 months left to live. Why would anyone in their right mind choose to kick someone out of their house because they were told they only have half a year left?
I know, right? I'm just as surprised as you are. I thought that those two at least had some form of a heart within their chest. But seeing as how they'd kicked me out of my own house, after the devastating news I gave them, they are both heartless indeed. Your brother never used to be like this, but I know that Laurel has most definitely been that way for a very long time. At least you and I know that she's not going to change for anyone. And Louis has just become her pet, and won't ever be reasoned with.
I'm disappointed in him, though. I have tried to talk with him many times now, but he never replies to me and just does whatever Laurel says. Does he think of himself as a man for being used like that by his wife?
Kendra, you don't have to be that upset over this. I've already made my decisions based off of what I've seen today.
And, Mom, I've made up my mind as well. I no longer think of those two as part of this family, and I never will again. You view them the same way, right? As no longer being a part of this family? I'm sure you were wishing for a very long time that Louis and I would grow close to one another, like a true brother and sister would. But it's not happening now. I won't allow him anywhere near me anymore.
There is something you were never told about, though, Kendra.
What? What do you mean? What happened that I was never told about?
Hey, I heard this rumor going around. And that rumor was that your restaurant is doing wonderfully now? I was close to your restaurant today to have a look around. And outside you had this long line of people waiting to go inside. That That place looks like it went through a dang hurricane. So what did you do to get all those customers?
So you came out to have another look, did you? Well, I'm not sure why you'd do that, considering we already cut ties to you. So wouldn't you be better off spending your time on things that actually matter to you?
I found it strange that out of all the places that would be booming in town, your crappy restaurant would be one of them. Just a few weeks ago, you were saying that there wasn't enough money coming in, but now the place is looking a lot better than it was before. Not perfect, but it went from being a rundown shack to being a hurricane survivor. What the hell happened?
With the help of my mom, we were able to put some more work into the place.
What? With the help of your mom?
Does this have anything to do with you? I assumed the day you kicked my mom out of her own house, we had all agreed on cutting ties to one another. I'm confused as to why you would want to be talking to me again. Unless it's because you're jealous.
Huh? Who are you calling jealous? Why would I ever become jealous of all you losers?
If you find that we're all losers, then you should be leaving us losers alone, right? But based off what you were just texting me, you said that our restaurant is doing wonderfully, which to me seems like you're very interested in our lives again. Perhaps because you're jealous of it? You want to know why, right? Why my husband's and my restaurant is doing so well now?
I'm sure this was just a one-time occurrence, and that within no time, your restaurant will be back to burning all your money away. Why are you trying to act all high and mighty like you guys are successful now?
Because this all happened with the help of my mom, the one you and my brother kicked out of her own house and told to come live with us.
What? What do you mean that all happened with her help?
You kicked her out because you didn't want to have to care for her in her old age, right? I think it was horrible of you to kick her out on the same day she was told she only had 6 months to live. But thanks to something like that, we were able to get the help of my mom. Because we got the help of my mom, who is both good at cooking and at advertising, we were able to become popular in no time. My husband and I know now very clearly that the way we were trying to do things before was not correct.
You're telling me your mom did all of that for you? How? And how were you guys able to make the inside of the place look so fancy? Does this mean your mom has a lot of money or something?
Well, you might just be right about that.
What the hell? Your mom? She never said anything to me about having that kind of money. I thought she was just some moneyless old hag. Had I known she still had some uses, I would have kept her around as my ATM.
When do all of your terrible comments stop, Laurel?
Huh? I'm just speaking the truth about her is all. I was never going to take care of some old woman who had no money to give me. Had I known at the time that she did in fact have money, I would have kept her around and made her pay for my services.
Laurel, you really are far from being human. Thank God the three of us cut ties to you when we did. My mom was well aware of how old she was getting, and all she wanted to see before she left this world was my older brother and I getting along together. But ever since you became a part of my brother's life, there's been no possible chance of that ever happening. Louis being the person he is meant that he had always avoided me. But when you came along, you forced him to stop talking to me entirely because that's the kind of monster you are.
Aren't you being a little bit too rude right now? By the way, all that crap you keep on spewing does not matter to me.
When you were having financial troubles a year ago, I lent you some money, did I not? My husband and I both talked about it for a while, and after agreeing that we'd help you out, we used a large part of the money meant for our restaurant on you.
Really? I don't care, though. As family, it's our job to help one another out, right?
Family? The moment you heard from my mom that she was only given half a year to live, you kicked her out of her own house.
This and that are two completely different things.
Well, it's not like any of that really matters to me either now. The moment I lent you that money, your attitude took a 180, and then you ended up never giving the money back to us later. Even when my husband and I needed it badly for our place, you acted like you didn't have to give it back to us. At least after all those terrible experiences with you, my husband and I know exactly what kind of monster you are.
And so what? Complaining to me and about me like that isn't going to get you anything.
I'm not really complaining anymore, as I don't care to with you. My family is all doing really well here now. And so I think it's time for you guys to get out of here.
What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean it's time we get out of here? It's not even like your guys' lives matter to us anyway. If you're really telling me all that success was due to the old hag, then it's not going to last for long. She doesn't have much time left. And when she's gone, your restaurant will fall right back to where it started. It really sucks, doesn't it? You only got a taste of the good life. And once the old hag is dead, your lives in that restaurant will be over.
Ah, you're talking about that. That was a lie, you know.
What?
My mom isn't actually sick or anything, and she was never told by anyone that she only had 6 months left to live. She was just saying that as a way of testing you and my brother.
Huh? What are you talking about? So you're telling me she was never told anything about only having half a year left?
That's what I'm saying. She's still very healthy and has not changed one bit since coming to our place.
What the actual hell? Why the hell would she be telling a lie like that?
At the time, I had no clue about this myself, but it seems that my mom has a lot of assets, and that's what's led to her having so much money.
What? Assets? What do you mean?
And it sounds like my husband and I will be getting all those assets and that money from her when she eventually does pass. That also means we'll be getting that house you and my brother are both living in now. So pretty soon you will be getting a notice saying that you both have to leave. I think leaving right now will give you the best chance at finding a place to move to without becoming homeless.
We're going to receive a notice? In other words, we're going to be evicted? From this house?
Well, of course from that house. Neither of you have any right to be in that house, and right now my mom could call the police and have them come and remove you as squatters.
But when your mom passes away, wouldn't this house become Louis'? And because it will become his, that means it would also become mine, right?
I told you already. My mom is not going to die just yet. And even if she were going to die soon, the house wouldn't be going to you guys. And that's because we've decided to have it sold.
You're all selling it? I never heard anything about having this house sold. Why are you all talking without including the people who actually live here?
Because that house isn't yours. It's my mom's, and she has the right to do whatever she wants with it. There is no reason for her to get your opinion about selling the place.
What? Is that even possible? So since you're going to be selling this house, we need to get out of here?
That's what I've been saying, Laurel. Also, we went and sent my brother a message about all of this.
You sent a message to Louis? About what? What did you say to him?
I told him all about how you had borrowed money from my husband and I, yet have still not paid any of it back. And that you have until the end of this month to return every penny that you borrowed from us, or else you'll have to talk with our lawyer.
Huh? Why are you talking about all of that with him?
We just got a response from him a second ago, but he said he had no idea you borrowed money from us. What's that all about, Laurel? Why is your husband unaware of the money that you borrowed from my husband and I? Is this why you've had him ignore me all this time?
Why did you say all this useless crap to him? And what's this about a lawyer? What?
That $30,000 we lent you needs to come back to us soon. And if it doesn't, we will use legal help to pry it out of your hands. Remember how just before we lent you the money, we had you sign all of those IOU forms? I think it was very stupid of you to think you could run from legally signed documentation stating that you'd pay us back. We're not letting you run from us, and we will be getting all $30,000 of that back from you. So please get all your finances together and be ready to pay up.
Hold on a second, Kendra. Calm down. Why are you talking about so many scary things? You and I are family, right?
I just got off the phone with my brother and totally get it now. You've been lying to him all this time about how I've somehow been bullying you. And then you told him to never listen to anything my mom or I would say to him because you said we'd be lying. You would tell him all sorts of lies about how my mom and I have been picking on you, also that we'd look like the bad guys and so that he'd only listen to you. I do think that my brother is pretty stupid for believing all of those lies, but you've been the one behind all of those lies, which makes you our #1 enemy.
I'm not sure what you're all talking about. Perhaps those are all just misunderstandings that Louis had of me. I have no reason for ever doing something as strange as that to him.
Don't even bother playing dumb now. I know that he was never willing to believe what I had to say about all that debt you've had. But when I had a lawyer get together with me and go through all of your transaction history, it wasn't hard to convince even my brother of what you'd really done.
Are you trying to break our marriage apart now? Stop meddling in my business. You went and looked at all my transaction history like that? You're a monster.
How so? This was all stuff you did yourself, right? You've been the one in debt to not only me, but plenty of other companies as well. If you don't start paying my husband and I and some of those other groups off, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And don't forget that when my mom told you that simple lie about how she'd be dying soon, you showed your true colors. Before, Louis was always listening to everything you told him because you made my mom and I look like assholes. But now that he knows the truth, he is running over to our house to beg for forgiveness from us.
Why are you trying to make it look like I'm the bad guy now? This is all messed up.
Seems like my brother knows a thing or two about why you needed our money.
What? About what? I just needed that money in order to pay for a few things pertaining to my life. I'm not sure what he all knows about that sort of stuff.
I'm pretty sure you do know what he's talking about, but it's not something that I should be mentioning. You can have that conversation with him since he is your husband. All I care about is getting that money back from you that you were lended. Besides that, I'm not going to bother with you.
Kendra, what about your mom's will?
What about it?
If she is able to give me some of her money after she passes, I'll be able to pay you and all those other companies back. So I was wondering if I'd be inheriting anything from her. That would work out perfectly for everyone, right?
I have no idea what you're going on about now. You're not getting a single thing from my mom after she passes anyway, so give it up. And let me remind you that she's not dying right now, and it will be years before her health even begins to show signs of that. To my mom, Laurel, you are nothing. And you're going to look the same way to my brother now as well. You're going to lose that house you've been squatting in, and then the real pain will start to kick in.
If I'm kicked out of this house and have to deal with all my debt, I'm not going to be able to live. Kendra, that'd be like you murdering me, right? I believe that you were all my family, yet you want me dead?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Weren't you the one that kicked my dying mom out of her own house? I'm going to make sure you burn in hell. Trash like you needs to be put in the landfill. Because of you, Mom, the restaurant was even able to go on TV. And I suppose I could be thanking Louis and his brain-dead wife as well.
You'll be on TV? That is so amazing to hear. I'm so happy I was able to be of some help to you. And like you were saying, we also have Laurel to thank for this.
And now that they're falling apart, Louis's eyes are finally being opened. I'm really shocked by what we learned in the end, though. Laurel was using Louis's credit cards to go out and hire a younger man to play with her? Ugh, yikes, right? I feel kind of bad for Louis now.
But he was the one that chose to be with and marry her, so he is responsible for that outcome just as much as she is. He may have came to us asking for our forgiveness, but after what he done, he will not get off the hook that easily. We need to make sure that man knows his lesson.
You are a pretty strict mother, aren't you, Mom? Not only did you ask him to go and find his own place to live now, but you told him that he had to help pay off her debts. Luckily, Laurel's parents have stepped in too to make sure she pays up. I hope that someday Louis will be able to recover from this and become a part of the family again.
I'm wishing for that as well. But until we can let him back in, he's going to have to show us that he's changed.
And that's all up to him. Anyway, I'm just glad that out of all that's happened, you're not going to die soon. And thank you so much for helping out with our restaurant.
And thank you and your husband for getting your house ready for me to move in so quickly like that. I was a bit worried about what would happen after being kicked out then. From now on, let's make sure to stay in an even tighter family and help one another out every single time.
Yes, that's what I want to happen. Mom, thank you for everything. Because of all the help my mom gave us, our restaurant became one of the most famous places to eat this year and would appear on TV and in a monthly magazine. It's so famous now that most days we have people lined up waiting to come in to eat. As for my brother, he's trying his best to show my mom and I that he's learning his lesson and is changing by always bringing gifts over to the house. He's also bringing us money from Laurel to help pay off her debt to me, so it seems he really doesn't want to ignore anyone anymore. As for Laurel herself, she was forced to get rid of that young man she was paying to sleep with her, and after getting divorced by Louis, had to move back home with her parents. There they work her like a horse on their family farm and make sure she doesn't have any free time to enjoy herself with. I would really like all that money she owes back right now, but she's only just begun working, so I'm just going to have to wait a while. And honestly, it's nice to hear from her parents about how miserable she is now that she's lost almost everything. And every once in a while, they'll send me pictures of her crying out in the field, covered in manure. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. I just want to let you know that all of that money is going to belong to me in the end. So all of you and your family, don't get your hopes up, okay? I promise to at least give him a good funeral to make up for taking it all from myself. What? Miley, what is all of this about? And what did you just mean by all of that? I just meant what I said is all. Have you started to forget how to read and understand English or something? I have no plans of giving you guys any of the money your brother has left behind. Your brother is no longer of this world, and that means you all have nothing to do with me anymore. Since you're all complete strangers, I'm not going to hand anything over. In other words, what you're saying is, a lot of money was left over by my brother, and you're wanting access to it all? That's what you're going on about? You don't want to share it, is that what you're saying? That's what I'm saying, yes. I heard that you aren't that smart at all, even though your brother happened to become a doctor of all people. And I can see right now you are just as stupid as he mentioned. Are you sure you're not mentally challenged in some way? Don't start making me repeat everything I say to you over and over again. Wait, hold on a second. Is this really you, Miley? For some reason, this Miley who I'm talking with now is completely different from the person I'd known before. I never expected her to be someone who could say such awful things to other people about themselves. I'm a bit shocked by all of this, and that's why it's hard for me to say anything at the moment. And that's why I was saying what I said. I had married into my husband's family, and he wanted me to play nice with everyone in it. And so I went ahead and got along with all of you, making myself look all kind and whatnot. But now that he's no longer around, I'm going to cut ties to every single one of you. And I'll be doing so with no restraint at all. Huh? Now I see. So this whole time you just had a mask on is all, right? That's exactly right. So from now on, would you please stop thinking about me as your family? Understood. What is this about there being an entrance fee now? We still happen to be my brother's family, you know. I understand that, but I am his wife still. I'm the one in charge of who can come into this funeral and who can't, meaning there is no say in it for you. So if you'd all like to be a part of this funeral today, you all have to pay me a lump fee of $50,000. If you're not able to pay me that much, then you guys will not be able to take part in this funeral today. Are you really asking that from us right now? This is everyone's very last chance to see my brother's face before he's buried. I have been with my brother ever since I was born. I would really like to take one last look at his face before having to say goodbye to him forever. What? So now you're going to beg with tears now, huh? Well, that sort of thing doesn't work on me, so, So, I was the one your brother chose to marry, okay? And that means whatever I say goes. You are so mean, Miley. I seriously never thought that someone like you could be that rotten deep down. Shut up and bring me that money now. There's no way we'd do that for you. Are you sure you even understand what you're even doing here? Because you're about to become a complete stranger to this whole entire family of his. Is that really something you want right now? I've been telling you that's what I want this whole time. How much longer are you going to try forcing me to be a part of your family? All right then, I understand. Well, if you do, get the hell out of here. And don't you guys ever come around me again. Sure, that's the plan from now on. Now, we're all going to head home. Goodbye forever, Miley.
Cam, it's been a long time since we'd last talked. I'm your older brother's good friend Jay, in case you didn't already know that. There's a few things that I'd like to chat with you about, so when you have the time, please get back to me.
Jay! Oh, long time no see. Of course I knew it was you since I still have your number in my phone. Although the last time I ever saw and spoke to you was when we had lunch together a year or two ago, right?
Yeah, I think that was the last time. I've had a lot more work lately, and I've been so busy with that, which left me no time to come and see all of you guys, so I'm sorry about that.
Is that why you haven't been around much? That really sucks. So then, does you messaging me again like this after so long mean that you know?
I've heard. It's something I feel so terrible for and wanted to express my sincerest sympathies to all of you about. I had actually thought I'd be seeing you all yesterday, but it sounded like you and your family were all missing from the funeral, right?
Ah, so you actually went to the funeral, did you? Actually, all of my family showed up to be there, but, well, my brother's wife was there. I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with that woman, but she told all of us that we had to pay an entrance fee to get into the funeral.
What? Wait. What the hell do you mean? When it comes to the funeral, isn't it the whole family who's holding it for the deceased? Would there ever be a family who doesn't show up to say goodbye to one of their own?
You'd think there couldn't be, which is why this was so unbelievable for us as well. But she told us that we wouldn't be allowed in unless we paid. And, well, we didn't just pay. We told her that if that's really how she wanted to behave at her husband's funeral, then that was fine and we wouldn't have any part of it.
What kind of money was she asking for, though? Is that even something someone like her should be doing?
She told us that if we wanted to go in and say goodbye to my brother, we had to pay her $50,000. And that we'd have to pay it all together on that day.
$50,000? Is she messed up in the head or something?
It really seems that she is. And that's why my parents and I gave up on it right then and there. So we left and went back home and mourned my brother without being able to see his face one last time. Seems that his wife really wants all of his money all to herself. We had no plans of talking about that while we were there anyway, but she did say to us all that she would be cutting ties right then and there. If that's what she really wants to do, then we decided to let her be.
I see. I always thought there was something up with that woman from the very start. But now I know there are a ton of things wrong with her. Well, if that's the case, then this conversation is going to be a whole lot quicker for me. I've made up my mind now. I'm going to make sure to give you all everything you wanted on her, okay?
What are you talking about, Jay?
There was another reason for me getting in touch with you today, Cam. It has to do with that wife of your brother's. And something that goes along with what you and your parents asked me to do a long time ago.
What? I'm not sure what you mean. Does this all have to do with what you found?
Well, in some parts, yes, but thankfully she was never able to find out about me and never noticed me at the funeral. Luckily, your brother helped too by going to work a lot before he passed, so I got a lot of details now. But man, was I worried yesterday that she'd notice me from somewhere and confront me on it. But of course she never did, because it's not like she'd care about someone of my likes anyway, right?
Is that right? Then what's this all about? I'm still confused as to what these details are, Jay.
You just told me how she was trying to get all that money out of you and your family, right? Well, there was a reason behind why she asked for $50,000.
Wait, what do you mean?
And also, the one who should really be paying up right now is her of all people.
Jake, can you please elaborate a bit more for me about all of this? Excuse me? What is going on here? All my brother left behind for me was $400,000 worth of debt that I now have to pay off. Oh, is that right? Well then, good luck with paying all that off. Remember, you didn't want to share any of that inheritance with the rest of us. So make sure to pay it all off by yourself. I knew there was something up with you not crying about getting nothing from him. In other words, you knew this would happen and forced me to take it all for myself, right? Hey, what kind of bullcrap is that? I never said anything at all about that sort of thing and was just going along with everything you were saying, right? You were the one that told me you wanted all of his money, right? My family and I thought that if you wanted it so much that you could have it, and never said anything about how you had to take it all for yourself. So if anything, you were the one forcing us not to take it, right? Forcing you all not to? What the hell does that mean? We all never wanted for you to take on all $400,000 of that debt because we all felt bad for you. And the plan was for all of us to take on that debt in order to help you out the best we could. But you came out of nowhere being all greedy about how it was all going to be yours, all of that debt, and so... What? You guys were going to help me pay off all this debt? Well, we were, but then you started acting like you already knew about it since you were acting so tough, wanting all of the inheritance and all my brother was leaving. And then at the funeral, you made it even more clear to us that you didn't want for our help when asking for $50,000 in order to let us in to see my brother one last time. Originally, we had all thought about talking to you about the debt at the funeral in case there was a chance you didn't know about it. But, you kind of stopped that from happening. What? You guys plan to talk to me during the funeral? That's right. Yet with all of that in mind, you went and blocked all of us from coming inside. You made it very clear to us that we were like your enemy in some ways and that you would do anything you could to make sure we couldn't touch what my brother had left behind. And in the end, we decided to let you be since you seemed to have everything under control. Are you being serious right now about that? In other words, what you're saying is that I never noticed your guys' intentions when coming and I chose a path that would lead to my own destruction? Yep, that's what it looks like to us. We were all there to lend you one last hand paying off all that debt, but instead you chose to do something completely different from what we expected. All because of some crazy fantasy you were having. No way. I never meant for this to happen. As for us, we were never given one last chance to say goodbye to my brother and didn't get to say any last words to him. All because of your greed and pride. Even though the time that we had spent with my brother was way longer than the time you went and spent with him. Instead of thinking about the feelings of his whole entire family and what they wanted, you chose to think only about what you wanted, and that was what you thought to be my brother's money. You really are the worst, Miley. And now all of us will not be forgiving you ever again for that. I'm really sorry. I didn't think things would turn out like this after doing all of that. I mean, my husband was a doctor of all people. I assumed that he'd have so much money left over in his bank accounts for me to have. To see he was in this much debt now? How could this have happened to him? In order to become a doctor, one must spend a whole ton of money for the education and all. And yet my brother, being as ignorant as ever, assumed that he'd be able to pay off all of that debt the moment he became a doctor, and spent most of his time during school playing around and spending tons of money. He also chose to start his own clinic after he had graduated, which alone cost him millions, having to buy his own place and all of the machinery and furnishings for the place. And in the end, he was left in a lot of debt, which he was able to pay most of off, but not all of it. He was always the kind of person to think about things in a short-term manner and never thought about the outcomes in the long term. I'm sure now you're wishing he had been the other way around and focused more on what would come in the future ahead, instead of just how things have been right now. No way, I never knew he was like that. I mean, he was always working, right? He should have been making so much that he could have kept in his savings or something. He would always buy me these really expensive and high-end brands for my birthday, too. There was never a moment where I doubted him and his finances. And like I'd said, he only ever cared about the moment. To him, that meant he just assumed he'd pay off all the debt he was getting into one day. Sure, he was making a lot of money as a doctor for a little while there, but even with all that money, it wasn't enough for the tremendous amount of debt he'd gotten himself into. No way. I'll apologize. So will you guys please come back here and help me? There's no way for someone like myself to be able to pay all of this debt off. I've always been a housewife for your brother, and even if I were able to get a part-time job, I'd never be able to make enough. Currently, the house I'm in is being paid for with a loan as well, and we're just about to pay it all off. Which means the only money we do have is meant for me to do that with. There's no way for me to pay off that debt he's left me with, so please, as family, you all please do something about this. Do you really think that we'd still be interested in helping you just because you're the one asking now? Weren't you the one who also told me that we have nothing to do with you anymore and that you'd be cutting ties to us? And I said that I'd apologize for saying that. Let's just forget about that all ever even happening. I mean, you're all the ones related to one another by blood, right? I shouldn't have to be the one paying off all this debt he left behind. And it's not like I knew he was in so much debt anyway. I just wanted the money to help me out with my new life as a widow now. Right now, there's nothing that I can do to avoid being ruined. And I'm saying that has nothing to do with us now. Not only are we all not related to you by blood in any way, but you said it yourself that you didn't want us around anymore as your in-laws. So no matter how hopeless things are for you or how sad you are, we don't care. Everything that's happened to you now was done by you alone, so you figure out how to manage all of that by yourself now. And I'm saying that that's impossible for me right now. This is all the debt that your brother got into, right? Well, I'm telling you to do something about all of it right now. Really? Getting all upset at me now over something you did to yourself? What a baby. So let me get this straight. If he had left behind loads of money, that would all become yours. But when it's all a bunch of debt he's left behind, it should somehow become my problem? Doesn't make any more sense when I say it to myself, even. Wow. Nice try there, but everything you just said to me there only proves you're a greedy jerk. But Kim, if all of this was going to happen to me, then I would have been better off never marrying him. Saying things like that to us now is only making yourself look worse. Your marriage was something that you chose to let happen and something you chose to show off to the world, which means you now have to take responsibility for all of it. Trying to make others take responsibility for that all isn't something someone your age should be doing, Miley. Why not, Kim? If I can't get any help, then what the hell am I supposed to do here? By the way, I'm cutting ties to you all and never show your face around me again came out of you, right? Yet now you're the one coming to me for help and asking me what you should be doing. Honestly, it's a mystery how someone like you even made it as far as marrying a doctor or anything like that. If you've cut ties to us, then you leave me out of this and figure it out yourself. Well, I can't figure it all out myself, and that's why I'm asking for your help. Please. You all have money, don't you? And this whole time you've been all on your own making things happen, right? That means you of all people have to have a lot of money on you right now. Well, even if I did have a lot of money right now, none of it would be going to a pile of crap like you, Miley. I don't want to have someone of your pathetic likeness to have my money in your hands. Especially when you went and stabbed my own brother in the back, you asshole. What? Stabbed him in the back? What are you talking about? Let me just say that we already know about everything that's happened there. About how you always went to that male strip club and went back there recently to start giving more and more money to one of the men you liked. You've had relations with that man even still while married to my brother for so long. What? Wait. What are you going on about? I never did anything like that while your brother had been around. Now, would you stop saying such nonsense at a time like this about me? That's what I'd like to be asking you. How could you marry someone like my brother and take all of his money from him like that to use on another man at a strip club you used to always go to, even going and sleeping with him from time to time while my brother was working the night shift? That right there makes you the worst woman ever, and you are so bad now that I have nothing else to say to you. I just told you to stop saying things like that about me. What the hell makes you even think I ever went and did all of that? Especially when your brother isn't even around anymore. Do you really think saying things like that about me, making me look bad, is going to be left unchecked by me? Sure, all right then. My brother's dead now, which means that he'll never know about what had happened to him. But that's even more reason as to why my family and I are working so hard to make sure you pay for what you'd done to my brother while he was alive. We knew some of this was going on while he was still around, but we didn't want him to die knowing that his wife was unfaithful to him, and wanted him to be happy instead as he left this world. Huh? What is even going on here? Why are you even bothering with me then? How come you all knew but not him? He told us one time that he felt something off about you, but really didn't know what it was. And my family, wanting what was best for him, hired someone to take a further look into you while he'd be working and such. What? You hired someone to follow me? What are you going on about now? My family happened to know someone close to my brother who also happens to work for the police. And, well, we asked him to take a look at what was going on with you when he was out working, and so he did just that for his friend's sake. He gathered a lot of evidence that would help us help my brother get a divorce from you. But before any of that could happen, that terrible accident happened to my brother, and he was left with only weeks to live. You're lying, right? You guys were gathering evidence of all of it? Are you really telling me something like that right now? You really think I'd be lying to you about all of these things right now? Anyway, we have all the evidence that we can show to you now. And what we plan to do next is sue both of you for what you'd done to my brother. One other thing. We looked at my brother's phone after the crash and found that he'd received a couple of messages from the man you'd been with from the strip club. And it seems he was telling my brother to divorce you and let him have you. And he said that if he didn't do that the day before the accident, he'd kill my brother. Well, what do you know? That following day, my brother was hit in a hit-and-run case where we still weren't able to find the driver after. So there's a very high chance it was your man who did this to my brother and ended up killing him not too long after. That frickin' idiot! Why the hell would he say things like that before doing it? We were never told about it by my brother, but he did say to his friend, the detective, that he was being targeted and wanted to know what to do. Maybe your man assumed that my brother being a doctor meant he had too much money to want to sue him for taking you away. Well, your man just so happened to be more mentally challenged than you thought, huh? I mean, he is working as a stripper after all. What an absolute dumbass. You have to be lying right now. So that was the reason for everything? There's no way something like that could have actually happened between those two. Well, in terms of the timing, it all makes too much sense. And even if he wasn't the one who murdered my brother, you both are still in trouble. From now on, my family will be making sure you both pay for all of that with the help of the law, so be ready for that. You wanted us to help you pay off all that debt? Shut the hell up and focus on paying us the settlements we ask for first. You're going to pay everything off all by yourself and then apologize to all of us on your hands and knees. I get it. All right, I get it. I am really, and I mean really sorry for everything that I did. I've learned my lesson now after being shown everything I'd done wrong, all right? So would you please just overlook everything that's happened between that man and I? I bet you guys thought you were so lucky that you'd be able to get whatever my brother might have left behind after he died, right? You probably were thinking that you could use all that money you thought he would have left to continue having fun with it for the rest of your lives, while living in the house that he planned to pay off, right? That was never something we thought about. Stop that, please. Don't make us look like complete animals or anything. Your brother is dead now, and so there's no reason to be talking about his money or his debt anymore. All you're going to do is make everything worse for all of us, and that's no good, right? Okay, I'm not going to ask for you guys to help me out with the debt anymore. So can you all just leave me alone now? For someone who is all up and at it, looking to pick a fight with my family, you've really gone and tucked that tail in deep between your legs trying to scurry away, right? You've really done a great job not only ruining our lives with your greedy and toxic behavior, but you cost my brother his life with it too. You were right that my family has a lot of money right now, and we plan to use it on a lot of lawyers that can help us with you. We are going to make sure you take full responsibility for what you've done. And then both you and that man of yours from the strip club can go rot in hell once we're all done with you. I hope you're ready for that. After that, both Miley and her male stripper friend, who she cheated on my brother with the whole time they were married, would both face the wrath of my extremely angry family and I, and would have to wait for things to be taken into the hands of the law. When the time did come and 2 officers showed up to take her man away for questioning, Miley freaked out and tried to make a run for it so that we wouldn't be able to find her. But it wouldn't be long before that man was questioned and then released for a bit, and she went back to him to find out if he was going to be okay. And when that happened, my family's group of lawyers was with him and handed her all the paperwork on how much she'd be owing my family for what she'd done to my brother. I believe that when all the cases had finished up, she would have to owe us somewhere close to $60,000 and would be forced to pay it all in one lump payment. And when it came to my brother's debt, we made sure to tell his lawyer, who was handling everything he'd left behind, that we could not take it as his wife, Miley, said she'd be the one paying all his debt off. As for the house that my brother and Miley had been in, we made sure to have it sold off in order to help Miley pay us, and told her parents about the whole mess so that they could watch her while we weren't looking. Both her parents relayed to us later on that she had nobody left in her life to rely on for help, and would have to face all of that debt alone, especially after they too kicked her out of their house and onto the street so that she could really learn her lesson. Miley's man soon ran away from her after he was told that he'd have to go to court to face a judge for having been the one who must have hit and killed my brother, and that put Miley in a place where she only had one option, and that was borrowing money from a loan shark. I later heard on the news that her man was found by the police a few hundred miles away from the town, and had to be tackled to the ground before being taken to jail and then court, and then charged with murdering my brother. At this point in time, nobody really knows how things have been going for Miley out there all alone, but I like to think that she's working for some company underground, trying to make every cent she can to keep those loan sharks off her back. As for myself and the family, we never did end up having our chance to say goodbye to my brother one last time. But after things had really settled down and we were awarded a lot of money, we made sure to get him a really nice headstone for his grave and have another funeral where only the family was invited to get together and say goodbye to him.
I'm going to be getting married. And that's just what I deserve for being such a beautiful woman.
Is that so? You're getting married to Andy then? Congratulations.
That is right. But why do you know about him? Did I ever tell you the name of my boyfriend before?
I think that I've known about Andy a lot longer than you have at this point. But you don't have to worry about that. Just congrats on you both getting married. However, I wasn't really thinking that the two of you would ever make it this far together. But you have always wanted to get married to someone, so this is great for you.
What is up with that kind of attitude? Are you trying to talk down to me? Did you really think that I wouldn't be able to get a man to marry me, even though I have this wonderful body?
Huh? Why do you think I meant what I said as a slight towards you? I just wanted to say congrats for finding a man that would marry you, and that I'm happy to see things working out.
Well, you don't have the right to talk to me like that about my situation. Have you even seen the current job you're working? Would you ever think it's okay for an overnight cleaning lady to talk to anyone else the way you've been? You're the lowest of the low in the society, so I'm not going to let you talk crap.
About this again? What about being a cleaning lady means that I'm the lowest of the low? I've been putting a lot of effort into my job, and I take it very seriously. So don't call me anything like a lowlife, okay?
Well, someone like you shouldn't be having to do a job like that, but perhaps that's the reason why I'm the one getting married and not you.
As though you were chosen? Well, just as long as you're getting married for love.
But when I do get married to Andy, I'll become a housewife for him. Unlike a cleaning lady, I'll never have to work in other people's houses or offices to do their dirty work.
I don't have a problem with any of that, though. Layla, do you think you could stop talking down to me about the job I do? I'm starting to become a little bit upset by the way you talk about me. I'm sure that you can't see that yet, but...
Why do I have to care about how you feel when I talk to you? I'm not in the position where I have to give up my time thinking about how low lives feel. And you are the worst of the low lives.
You're going too far, Layla. And to put some things into perspective for you, do you know how you ended up meeting Andy in the first place?
What do you want to say to me? I was introduced to Andy by Mom, right? She told me that he's one of her friend's son.
Huh? Is that what she told you?
That is. So what does that mean to you? A low-life scum like you is not invited to my wedding? If a cleaning lady came to my special day, it would make the whole atmosphere go sour.
That attitude you have right there. Stop it! I'm getting to my limits with the way you're treating me now, Layla. If I were to stay away from your wedding like you've said, things wouldn't go so well for you. So I'm going. Now, I'll see you at your wedding. Mom, I can see that Layla is going to end up marrying Andrew now, right? Have you not told her yet that I'm the one that's known Andy and introduced him?
Well, that's the problem. It became harder and harder for me to tell her that. With that girl, if I mentioned that you were the one that introduced Andy, she'd freak out, right? She'd get all up in our faces again and would think that we're all playing with her.
Well, I can understand that she wouldn't take it lightly. I can definitely see her flipping out at the news that I was the one to bring him along. But it's crazy that she thinks we're being rude or mean to her when she's the one that's been that way to me my whole life.
And that's the reason I never said anything about her to you. But now that she's going to be getting married to him, she'll finally be able to move out of this house. I'm planning on getting out of here myself and into a new home.
Is that so?
I want to move away with Dad to a smaller farmhouse out in the countryside to spend our final years relaxing. And so we've both been waiting a long time for her to leave.
I can see that. Well, thankfully that time has come.
And once things have settled down after the move, we'd love for you to come out and see the place.
All right. But that's only if Layla can get married to that man. I'm starting to feel a bit bad, though, for Andy now that I've introduced him to a demon of sorts. But if he's really that into Layla, then that's great for him.
I think the two of them fit like puzzle pieces, so it's worked out. I think that Lila and him will be able to get along well, even after marriage. So I'm praying that things go smoothly for her and she doesn't throw it all away.
I'm in the same boat as you are. She told me she doesn't want me to come to her wedding. But I'm afraid something will happen if I don't show, so I'm gonna go still, okay?
And you should still go. She's still a little selfish brat, so you don't have to listen to what she says.
Thank goodness. Well, I'm looking forward to the wedding.
Did you not listen to me? Hurry up and get lost, you moneyless lowlife. I don't want you showing yourself to Andy when he should never know that you're part of my family.
Do you have no idea what you've just done? I think that what's happened is literally taking things way too far between us.
Well, it's your fault for coming to my wedding in the first place, right? I didn't even invite you here in the first place, yet you still showed up.
Well, Mom had received an invitation from Andy asking for the whole family to come to the wedding. I knew that you wanted me to stay away today, but choosing to be violent towards me was going too far overboard.
What about that was violent? I was just making sure that your eyes were opened.
Well, you came up to me and slapped me across the face before yelling at me to leave. Do you not see how messed up something like that really is?
You're getting on my nerves, Sydney. What I had to do with you was in defense of my wedding.
What? Do you know what it means to defend something? Are you sure you weren't just assaulting me a second ago?
Lowlife scum are not a part of my family, so hurry up and leave already. You should have listened to me before I had to take action and defend my wedding.
Why do you think that I'm some lowlife that's worth assaulting?
Because you're an overnight cleaning lady.
Layla, look, what you're saying makes no sense right now.
What I'm saying does make sense. I'm not okay with my little sister being a cleaning lady when she had so much potential. I slapped you to try and wake you up. So now that you understand how I feel about you, get lost.
Then you have a great one.
I don't need to hear that from you.
I'm going to do as you wish and go right home. But allow me to say one last thing. The man that you've just married was introduced to you by me.
Really? Why are you starting to say such unrealistic things now?
I get it. You're not going to believe me. But you're the only one that doesn't seem to care.
What do you mean?
Mom just happened to never tell you about his relation to me. She wanted to keep you from getting upset with me for bringing Andy along, and so she never told you a thing about how he's your husband due to me. You were already upset with me due to my job as a cleaning lady, and she couldn't see you believing her without getting pissed. But the reason that I was able to bring him to you is because I became friends with him and his parents due to my job. But I already have a fiancé, so I decided that he should talk to you more if he was looking for someone.
You know him and his parents? What are you talking about? Do you really think I can take a joke like that seriously? Have you got off the deep end now? I'm sorry that you're having to leave my wedding is so distressing, but it has to be done.
The only reason Mom never told you was for the sake of making sure you would stay with Andy. She was afraid of how angry you'd become and that you'd throw your relationship with Andy away because of me.
Are you really telling me the truth? Why has Andy vanished from me all of a sudden? What's going on here?
Maybe it's because his parents watched as you slapped me in the face earlier?
Huh? They saw all of that?
They saw the whole thing unfold! If it wasn't for you laughing so hard at me, they might have not came and looked. But after you slapped me and started to laugh some more, I went and met with them.
Wait, when you went to go see them, you didn't say anything unnecessary, right? And are you for real about you and Andy already knowing one another?
Because I had known his parents and him for a while. They took good care of me. And it's because of them that I was able to find you a man to marry. But now you've gone and slapped me in front of both his parents.
But I never knew anything about you guys, so maybe this is just you trying to make up crap. Hold on, something's going on. Because you're not here, his parents seem pretty upset right now. And they just told Andy that I've done something wrong. Do you think you could come back here? I feel that if you don't come back right now, things will get pretty bad for me. Please hurry.
Even if you asked nicely, I'm not coming back now, huh?
Huh? Why not? Right now, things are starting to go downhill and I'm a bit panicked. I'm in a bit of pinch right now, so please come back here. Why, after a little slap to my sister, are they all starting to get worked up? Hurry up and get back here.
You asking me to come back now after telling me to get lost out of panic isn't going to work.
Why?
Because you just told me, Layla. You said you don't see me as family, right?
No, that's not what I meant by that.
And now that you've said and done things to someone as vital as me, you might end up getting divorced from him pretty soon. I'm sure that both Andy and his parents are regretting me introducing him to you. We had tried so hard to make things work out between you two, but I've already talked with Andy about this.
Huh? Why? Why are you talking with him before asking me for permission? You don't have to do things like that behind my back. What have you guys been talking about?
I told him that you no longer see me as your family, and so he no longer has to worry about you and I. I then ended our conversation by asking that he do what he thinks is best regarding you.
Huh? What do you mean by that? Do you think that he needs to do something about me being with him now?
Well, you talk down to me for being a cleaning lady, and even have gone as far as to regard me as nothing but a stranger now. I feel as though he should understand that and think twice about being married to you.
Please don't tell me you told him all about that, right?
Of course I told him.
Why did you do something like that to me?
That's right. I almost forgot to say this. I think you really don't know the importance of this.
What is it now? What importance is there that I'm unaware of?
Andy's parents are actually the ones that own the company in which I work for.
Huh?
You've been going on about how much you dislike those that work in the cleaning industry. And since you seem to hate people like me so much, it wouldn't make sense that you be married to the son of two people that own a company which is in the cleaning industry, right?
Hold on. Andy is the son of the company's CEO? I had a feeling that he had a lot of money, but I just assumed he was working for a good company, that's all. That would mean that I've landed the perfect husband, right?
Well, that's only if your marriage to him lasts, right?
I never knew about that. He never mentioned to me that his parents owned a company. I'm freaking out right now because there's so many things I never was told about. This is all way too different from the situation I was thinking about. What should I do now?
Asking me what you should do will get you nowhere. That all has nothing to do with me now. I think that your wedding will be canceled now, and you being married to Andy will crumble, right? You're going to go back to being a single and jobless loser, right?
What is with you calling me that? I'm your sister. And if all of that happens to me because of you, you get back here right now and do something about this. I've never heard of a little sister acting out like that towards her older sister.
Well, I don't think of you as my sister anymore.
Huh?
After what's happened, I'm thinking of just cutting ties with you now. I like to think that someone who's willing to slap their own sister is no family of mine. And so I'll do whatever I can to make sure I don't have to see you anymore. Now, goodbye forever.
Wait, what are you saying? If you are to cut ties with me right now, what will happen to my marriage to Andy? Stop trying to run away from your responsibility.
Well, to be honest, you being married to him was never going to work. He was going to become aware of you at some point in time, so aren't you happy that his eyes have been opened now? Ah, and another thing. Mom and Dad are going to be moving away. And they said they're no longer going to take care of you anymore. So, if you're thinking of going back to them, they won't be there. Don't forget about that, okay?
What's going on? Are you saying that Mom and Dad are going to throw me away as well? You getting in the way of my wedding is the worst thing ever.
I didn't get in the way of anything. You just messed up by slapping me in the face.
That was just a joke, or maybe it was just an accident.
No matter how you try and make excuses for what happened, it won't help you. Now, good luck with your marriage. But before you try for marriage, maybe find yourself a job? Right now, you're just a complete loser. Are you not embarrassed being 33 years old and still living with your parents under all their care? You like to call cleaners lowlifes, but when you think about it, someone who's unemployed and lives with their parents is the real lowlife. See you never, you lost cause. Never try talking to me again. In the end, Layla was left in despair after her wedding was canceled. She immediately ran away from everyone at the wedding and their short marriage was over. Andy's parents tried searching for her as they still wanted to talk to her about why she would do what she did, but after searching for her for hours, they gave up and let her be. Andy was left a small bit heartbroken, but was more relieved than anything else since he was able to see the true person that Layla really was. Layla tried running back to her parents' house, but would soon find that it was already too late for herself. Layla's parents were already out of their old house and moved to the countryside by then. And since she had no one to rely on anymore, she was forced into having to support herself. She tried to get Sydney to help her, but by that point, Sydney had already blocked all her ways of contacting her. Sydney had also gotten married to her fiancé as well, and moved to a new location. And so, Layla was left with nothing but herself, and had to start from scratch like most people had done in their early 20s. If only she had gone out and started fending for herself sooner. Something like this would never be happening to her.